Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Our topic today is a matter of concern for each and every member of AUC community. After students expressed their disappointment and frustration about the tuition increase through a campus strike that lasted for weeks, a solution has finally been announced: an emergency grant. But what exactly is the emergency program about? Our reporter Mirna Haytham has the answer in this report.
As the Executive Director of the Office of the Students' Financial Affairs and Scholarships, Ms. Suhair Saad has been heavily involved in discussions about the tuition issue. We asked Ms. Saad to walk us through the new program.
The emergency tuition grant is a $5 million grant that was announced earlier by AUC President Richard Doni. The aim of this grant is to help Egyptian families in paying the spring 17th semester tuition. As you know, due to the flotation of the Egyptian pound, families will have to bear additional cost of paying the dollar portion of the spring semester. So this is supposed to help families who need some additional support.
Though the deadline for applying for the grant has been extended till December 22nd, around 500 students have already applied. Will this solve the problem? We'll have to wait and see. This was Mirna Haytham reporting for AUC TV.
Joining me today in the studio is AUC Student Union President Amr Al-Alfi to further discuss the emergency scholarship program. Welcome to the show and thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Can you briefly tell me what are the latest updates regarding the tuition fee that the students should know?
The latest updates of the tuition fees right now is all about the emergency grant that the announcement was said today of the email. Right now we're working on an update from our side as Student Union, giving up al-bayan nafsu, where our stances are, the actions proposed, and what's going to be there for the next semester. Going through the details of the grant itself and answering all the inquiries of the people towards the grant. The grant is not, from our point of view, is not the solution, but we're cornered there in a way that we need to deal with it, and we need to deal with the fact that we don't want anyone to miss the opportunity since it's a $5 million, but at the same time, this cornering of a problem is not also acceptable from our side because it doesn't give equal opportunities to all the people, and it's not dealing with it in an emergency operational way.
Okay. Yeah. In a meeting between the Parents Association and the administration, there was a consensus regarding the grant, and I just want to know more about what was the SU role in these negotiations.
Well, to be very clear about that, and that's a wonderful question actually, because we wanted to answer a lot about these unclarified rumors going on, that there was two set of meetings that happened. The PA asked from the president to meet with a member of the Board of Trustees, and it was only the PA inside this meeting, and Parents Association with three other parent representatives from outside the Parent Association, with the president, with the Board of Trustee member, Al-Khazandar, and Dr. Amr Salama. This meeting was summarized in news at AC. It was detailed of what happened inside of it. There were changes, major changes in the grant. Actually, they reached a point that the administration is still sticking to the grant, and the Parents Association were sticking to fixing the rate. Something that they've done from in between is that all people who should apply are most probably eligible. If they are not eligible, so they won't take it, but if eligible, they will go through a three category process, which is a 50%, 75%, and 100%. The Student Union here does not have any role in this meeting. Next meeting was a meeting with the financial aid team and the Parents Association alone. The Student Union took role in such meeting because we were asked to come in such meeting, because since we know a lot of background with the financial aid team and we know how things happen, so we were there to support our parents or the Parents Association in a way or another. But at the same time, we did not accept, agree, or sign on anything that we've not known of, because till now we've never agreed or signed an agreement of anything. By all means,
So you, as a student union, you do not think that this solution is sustainable?
The grant solution actually is not a sustainable solution by its fact. Of course it's not. But at the same time, the university committed to something that I really think that all of you by now know of, that next year the tuition fees is going to be in Egyptian pounds.
But according to our
Yeah.
information, that some parents did not suggested that they should pay the tuition fees in pounds, in Egyptian pounds, and the university or the administration did not agree about that, and some parents decided to file a lawsuit,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And I wanted you to clarify what's the SU stance
Okay,
currently.
so let's talk about, yes, exactly. So if you're talking about literally our stance, so you're taking the info right now from البيان اللي أنا هاخده. So take it right now. I'd rather you take it.
Okay.
يا رب ده يتذاع. We're talking about our stances. Our stances right now is about that there is a fact that the university is going to do whether we like it or not. And there's another fact that they did not accept our demands or even came through the zone of restructuring the tuition formula. Because we were talking about the tuition formula in a way that the tuition formula is a sustainable solution rather than giving us a loan. And we do not need a loan or a grant for continuing our education, because it's not even fair for someone who did not even demonstrate the fact that his expenses increased dramatically, and he's asking me right now to pay with an increase dramatically.
But these demands were not agreed
yes,
on
exactly.
by the administration.
It was not agreed on by the administration by all means. So our stances as student union right now, we totally support the lawsuit. Filing a lawsuit هو حاجة مشروعة، حاجة طبيعية جدا. There's no problem with it by all means. It's something eligible, it's something legitimate. I can do it alone without taking anyone with me. It's totally normal to do that. We totally support the fact because هو من حيث المبدأ هم رفضوه. And right now we are the weak part, or they're putting us or cornering us in a place that we cannot do anything about it.
Okay.
So this is from the lawsuit perspective. We are working with the parents on that. We have no problem. هنلم توكيلات وهنقف مع الناس وهنعمل كل الكلام ده. And at the same time, we have a fact that a lot of people would really need the support, would really need the aid, would really need the money because they need to continue their education.
So you're basically not against and not with one of the sides. You're actually working in both on both ways.
No, it's not. It's not working on a way is the lawsuit. We are working on something like that with them. We have no problem with that. But we are not. We're not going silent on the tuition grant, because we cannot be silent, because a lot of people would really want to use that as an opportunity for them, for their parents to let them continue their education.
Nothing.
So we cannot say
We're not part of the
yeah,
grant.
we're not part of the grant, and we're not gonna put our hands on it. No, I'm gonna put my hands, but I won't agree. It's at the same at the end of the day, if the administration wants to change a band or wants to change a clause in the grant, it's their call. It's never my call.
Okay.
Anything was sent in the email was their call. So it's just our suggestions, our ideas, and our effort. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
To know more about how the administration view the solution, our reporter May Burham has an interview with AUC's Executive Vice President for Administration and Finance, Brian McDougall. To you, May.
Thank you, Laila. Today, I am here with Vice President Brian McDougall to learn more about the Emergency Tuition Grant Program. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Oh, happy to have a conversation.
What's the difference between the grant system, the one you talked about, and the regular financial aid provided by AUC?
Well, there are the total amount of financial aid provided for the university, excluding the grant in FY17, the year we're in, is $23.9 million. Inside that includes money that is given by donors to support particular scholarships. So inside, there are externally funded scholarships and AUC funded scholarships, and there continues to be achievement scholarships, even though new students cannot apply for it. The many students who were previously awarded achievement scholarships continue, And then need-based funding and the process in place has been something that the university has looked to continue to grow by making a determination of total resources available to a student or a family and actual expenses. And certainly the variability of award relates to the amount of revenues available and the expenses that are there. So in terms of thinking about what the emergency grant system affords versus originally available needs-based, Ms. Sohair and her team are looking to streamline the process. And we've also agreed with the parents and the students that there can be 2 representatives from parents and students in the overall review process. Of course, we'll be masking or protecting the confidentiality of everyone who applies, so no one other than the actual staff will see the details of names and income and expenses. But the parents and the students will be able to get comfort that the process is fair and reasonable and the determinations are objective.
Like, our last question is, with the recent economic crisis in Egypt and the Middle East generally, what should parents and the students expect with regard to the tuition fees crisis?
Oh, that's a really good question. So what we can all see from the perspective of the devaluation of the pound is that prices will continue to increase in all sectors. I believe that what the Egyptian government has done is the right thing to do for the long term in terms of a series of economic reforms, but there will be more pain in the short term until Egypt's national currency truly becomes fully convertible. Mm-hmm. And there's a rebalancing of the value of the currency relative to other global currencies. So what can students and parents expect? At AUC, they can expect that the university will be looking inside its budget to find ways to lower costs, to find other sources of revenue, and to demonstrate that the type of adjustments made beyond academic year 17 make sense. Because in the long term, the university needs to serve its students, its staff, its faculty, and community, but also has to be fiscally responsible from the perspective of projected revenues and expenses. It cannot operate with deficits in the long term. I hope we can become less dependent on tuition, but the only way for us to become less dependent on tuition is to grow our endowment and to encourage more annual gifts, and that's part of our challenge going forward.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Oh,
we heartily appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Terrific.
Thank you, Laila. Back to Laila in the studio.
Whether this emergency grant system helps students overcome the tuition fee increase or not remains questionable. We here at AUC TV can only hope that, as the president announced, not a single student will be forced to leave the university out of inability to pay the tuition fees. That was all for today. This was Laila Amara from AUC TV. Thank you for watching.